So, Rod, last year was supposed to be a step back, quote unquote, and you guys make the Eastern Conference Final. So that's a step back. How'd you characterize what this year's going to be?
Yeah, wow. I think we were just more, you go back to last year, with more with a little uncertainty because we lost so many players.
Yeah.
And you just don't know what's coming in. But obviously we were able to pivot real quickly, and a testament to the group and the guys we brought in that we didn't take a step back. So great on that front. Still didn't get to the finish line, but we're, it's a new year. We're all starting from the start line, and we know what the goal is. So a little bit less changeover, still have some new pieces, and excited about it.
Have you allowed yourself to just reflect on how crazy last year was in a way? I mean, if you just look at it on paper, right? Like there's the hot streak, there's the Freddie Anderson injury, the Mikko Rantanen trade, among other things, and then you go all the way to this run in the Final Four. That's
partially what we do this for, right? It is exciting,
yeah.
And you don't know what's coming around the corner. So it was, like you said, there was a lot happened last year. It seems like every year there's a lot going on with our group, which I think that's how everyone likes it. But I think having a good team that, from one, I'm proud of and has a chance. I think we've given ourselves a chance every year to get to that point in the season we have, and now we gotta, like I said, there's one more goal we got to get to, obviously, but love the guys that we have here.
At this point, this is your 8th year being the head coach here. Do you identify as a coach now, or do you still kind of view yourself as a player?
That's a great question. I don't know that I'll ever identify as a coach. I still catch, when people say, "Hey, coach," I'm just like talking to me, and then it's just, I don't know. I don't think that'll ever change. I think partially, that's one of the things that I think makes me effective is I do still think like a player. Like I know what they're thinking. I know when they're sitting there listening to me talk. I'm getting too long or whatever. Like I'm getting bored of myself, right? Like it's like I know what they're thinking sitting there. Or, I don't think that'll change. As the older you get, you certainly have different perspective on things. But I hope it doesn't change.
I mean, I'm starting to feel this now too. As I'm approaching 40. And I was shocked to see actually where you're at on the age number. You look great. I won't throw it out there for people, but like I'm feeling this now too, trying to relate to younger athletes as I interview them and cover them. And a lot of these guys in your locker room have grown up here, but then there's younger guys coming in. How do you kind of stay fresh with that?
Yeah, that's a great question too. So it's a good point. Like you have to understand the new generation, and we can say good or bad or indifferent, whatever, but it changes. It's definitely changed from when I was a kid. And it's probably changed since you've been a kid. But one thing that's been great is I've got older kids, and then I still got a 13-year-old at home. So I feel like I've never left this understanding of that next generation. So I'm still kind of living it. But it's that makes the job interesting too. We're getting new young kids all the time coming in here, and having to figure out how to relate with them really is biggest part of the job.
When you made the playoffs every year you've been head coach, how do you not take that success for granted? And I know I try to remind the fan base sometimes not to take it for granted too.
Well, it's, you're hitting all of the great questions, right? Like, it's hard. People don't realize how hard it is to have that kind of success and to be a team every year that's knocking on the door. It gets, I'll be honest, it does get a little frustrating when you hear people talk about how an unsuccessul season and, you're playing into June, and like that's hard to do.
Yeah.
Would you trade that in to get there one time and not the rest of the years? Not. I don't know. I don't know. I like having an opportunity every year to be, challenging for something, and we're obviously, we haven't got there yet, but I believe in this group, and I think we'll get there.
It's hard not to imagine having you here as the head coach, but even going back to your contract negotiation as you re-signed, at least that's how it was reported. It seemed like it was a little contested. Was there ever a point where you thought you might not come back?
Well, if you're, truth be told, yeah. You don't know. It takes two sides to want this to go. I think there really wasn't much threat of that, but we all know that coaches have shelf life, and my time's coming for sure at some point, but hopefully not anytime soon. Like I said, really enjoy what I do, and I think we're doing a good job. And and be hard to see myself not doing it right now, but I know that time's coming. That's why I try to focus on now and take every day that I'm with these guys. Certainly don't take it for granted, as you brought up.
Well, we've lost some great coaches to retirement here in other sports, like Roy Williams, Coach K, which kind of makes you the face of Raleigh sports as a coach. Has that sunk in at all?
Well, I'm not that old yet, so but two legends, right? Like, and those guys that's another notch up, and that's someday I'd love to be able to be in that group. But we got to win one. We got to get to that next level, and I got to find a way to push these guys to get through to that. And but those are two legends that I've been real fortunate to get to meet and talk with Coach K a little bit. Phenomenal. There's no secret why he's been so successful. Yeah. I mean, legends like you mentioned, and we'll see where it goes.
Well, I mentioned UNC and Duke, but you're an NC State fan. Did you have to choose to be an NC State fan? Or?
Well, I lucked out. I got here in year 2000, and I knew about college, and I knew a little bit, but I didn't realize that you had to pick them on. I was like, wow, I like all of them. Like, this is awesome. And I quickly found out, like, no, you don't do that. And then I married into the NC State family, so luckily they were so good to me. Same building, and so I'd already kind of had that affiliation. But over the years, gotten to know, Coach Avent really well, and you talk about legends. That guy's, he's awesome. He's been here longer than anybody, and just real special people. And so, fortunate that I chose that, because I can't imagine if I was a big fan of the others, because my family, I'd probably disown me. But I love that the Hurricanes kind of bring everyone together, and I think we're that team here that you want to be a State fan or Carolina, Duke, whatever, like. We're your team, and we can all come together here in this community and root for us.
It's awesome that you really truly have become a part of the community. I mean, you're raising your family here, and we see Skylar, in the organization now, and that was a big story last year at camp, and now he's just kind of part of the team, part of the organization. What has that been like the last year?
Yeah, it's been, it's exciting. For him, for us as a family, just we know what he's gone through his whole life to get to that stage. So to see him around has been great. Still forging his way, but that's special, and it's a special place. We know it. We wouldn't be here this long and doing what I'm doing if it wasn't. So I'm very fortunate to be in this seat, and I'll try to keep it as long as I can.
I got two young boys myself. The youngest is 1, and I'm out there yesterday just rolling a baseball to him. And it's an absolute joy, right?
Yeah.
So I can sympathize and empathize with what you're going through. I think it must be incredible. I see you out there sometimes with your son Brooks.
Yeah.
How do you kind of manage expectations for him when he's so young?
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, first of all, it's the other part that's great about my job is I've seen now guys grow up here, and now they have their kids, right? They were kids when they showed up. Sebastian Aho, and he was a kid when he showed up, and now he's a dad. That's part of the job that's really special. Watching them transform to just what you said, realizing, oh my gosh, what was I doing my whole life? Like, being a father is the most important thing that you could ever be. And so just what you see when you light up about talking about your kid, right? Like, it's special. So then we're fortunate that way. We have a lot of guys that have kids here. It's we're a family, and it's a special group.
Just a couple more questions for you, Rod. That image of you, 2006, raising the Stanley Cup, is one of the most iconic in franchise history. What do you still remember about that moment? And maybe it's everything.
Well, it is everything right now. Like I say, life is about stacking memories. We say it all the time, and we try to create them all the time. You talked about last year. There was a ton of memories in that season, right? And life is about that. You go along, and and then all of a sudden something happens, and you want to have as many of those something happens, and so good ones. And then with hockey, so many good memories, and that right now is still a pinnacle for me as a memory. And I praise the big man that happened, and that I still have that memory. But I'd love to have another one with these guys for a lot of other reasons, and it's not even so much for me, but to know what it meant to everyone, and the fans here, they deserve it. They to have that memory for them. A lot of them weren't around back then, and loved for them and the guys in that room that haven't experienced it.
Well, you guys have been so close, but a lot of times in sports, a great team has an even better one in front of them. And for you guys, it's been the Florida Panthers. And I know you're probably biting your tongue when you saw they brought almost everybody back. I mean, what's it going to take to get past that group?
Well, no, I think it's great. It's they've set the bar. Like they've done things a little better than everyone else, and so it's you got to have that. There's got to be somebody to shoot for, and right now they're the team everybody's got to knock off, and I think it's great because you watch a team like that, it's pretty clear how things have to happen, and just be honest, it's a very similar message that we've preached for 7-8 years. So it actually makes me feel more excited to know that we're on the right track. We just gotta, like I said, we gotta find that extra couple inches.
I know it's early, but is this a team that can do it?
Well, we believe so. We wouldn't be doing it. There's zero chance I'd be putting in the hours that we put in and the time if I didn't think we could, get to that final goal. So we definitely have an amazing group, and now it's my job to make sure we, get them all on the same page.